Hello, this is Reckless Car Audio. Today we're going to be going through the new Sony AX4000. It has a ton of new features, including wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, 14-band EQ, anti-glare screen, and a whole bunch more. Stay tuned to figure out the new features. The new Sony AX4000 has a ton of new features packed into it, but what we're going to look at first is the screen and the smaller chassis design. So the new screen that they have on this Sony AX4000 is a nice anti-glare screen that's 6.95 inches, that's diagonally. So we can see kind of from a side profile that the chassis design is a lot smaller than the previous model. So what does that do? That allows us to be able to fit it in vehicles a lot easier. So for example, sometimes when you have a wiring harness for a vehicle, say like a pack piece, there's a lot of pieces that go into that harness, whether it be a steering wheel control box, whether it be a chime box, whatever you're plugging into the radio behind, sometimes you don't have much room to work with. So with this smaller design, it definitely gives you a little bit more room to work with, which is definitely nice. Another thing is, again, that anti-glare screen on the front of the AX4000 is a lot easier to see in direct sunlight. So we tested it and we can definitely notice better visibility coming from the front of the radio with their new anti-glare screen. Next, we're going to look at the back of the radio and see what kind of connectivity we have versus the previous model. So we can see here on the back of the radio, one major thing that we're going to notice difference is right up here. So I know it's a little bit, maybe a little hard to see here, but I know I gotta kind of move around. When they were going through and designing this new radio, they said, what can we add to the radio that's a lot of users are asking for, something that's gonna be different than their competitors. And what they came up with is putting USB-C on the back of the radio. Now, with other radios, at least off the top of my head, I cannot think of another radio that has USB-C on the back. So Sony is definitely the front runner when it comes to that. And now if you have an Android device, you're already on the USB-C platform. Now, if you have an Apple device, you have a Lightning connection on the bottom of your phone. You will have to get an adapter to be able to charge your phone on the back of the radio. Now, in previous models of Sony, you could do Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wired. Now, since this radio offers wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you are not able to do Apple CarPlay wired, only Android Auto wired. So that is something to think about. Again, if you have an iPhone and you buy the adapter for USB-C to Lightning, then you can charge your phone, you just will not be able to do Apple CarPlay wired, only wireless. But that is definitely a big feature because, again, tell me a radio that has USB-C on it. There isn't. They're definitely the front runners, and a lot of devices are moving towards USB-C. So they're just, kind of future-proofing themselves in a sense. Obviously, on the back of the radio, we have all the other standard connections that you'd be used to seeing on your other Sony radios. Obviously, your harness and all the microphone and everything. There's nothing really, flashy or anything crazy about that. Just the main thing that is a big difference is that USB-C. Now, I don't know if you can see it here, but there is kind of a blank spot next to the USB-C on the radio. They do have an AX6000 that also came out that has micro. Is it either micro or mini? One of them, micro or mini HDMI that you can use on the radio. But that's in another video, so stay tuned for that when we do the review on the AX6000. But again, looks pretty similar on the back. That USB-C is the biggest component on what they changed in the back of the AX4000. Now we're gonna go through the actual radio itself and what the menus look like on the new AX4000. So we can see here on that front screen, you're gonna see, yeah, it's actually in demo mode, but we can see that it has that clock right in the middle, and then it has, you know, your different options here as far as radio, Bluetooth, things like that, settings. A couple things about this main home screen we can see is that clock, you are unfortunately unable to change the clock itself. There's no adjustments on that. You know, you can't turn it to a digital clock or move it away or anything. The clock is there. Now we can see down here all of your, you know, all your standard things that you would see on your Sony radio, like your settings, your Bluetooth, things like that. Now, one thing that is nice is you do have the ability, let's get back home here. You do have the ability to actually move these around. So you can see, just like you would on your phone screen, you can drag these apps around to different places, change the configuration of it, which is really nice. I mean, they're trying to make their radio more user-friendly, and what's the best way to do that? Is to design it after something that people already use. People are already using their smartphones, so they're accustomed to how, you know, smartphones operate. So they went ahead and gave us the ability to kind of move everything around, which is definitely a benefit. As we kind of go through some of the different things that it offers here, stay on that home screen. So if we go down here to the settings, kind of like we talked about before, you have the ability to customize things, so you can go through and change the buttons on the bottom, change the wallpaper, things like that. We go in here to sound, we click EQ. What is that? That is a 14-band EQ. Yes, you heard it right, 14-band EQ. That is definitely something new for this line. Again, in previous models, people have complained about just the sound customization that you have. A lot of times it's a 3-band, it's a 5-band. Other brands like Pioneer and things have had more flexibility as far as what you can do with the sound. Now Sony listened to everyone and said, hey, here you go. There's a 14-band EQ. So you have more EQ adjustment, which is, I mean, what we've all been looking for. You know, if you've ever been a fan of Sony, that's where they've been lacking in the past. So it is definitely nice to have that ability for the 14-band EQ. Another thing, like we talked about before, is the wireless CarPlay in Android Auto. So what we're gonna do is actually go through and set up my phone so I can show you and give you an example of what it looks like in action. As we can see here, this unit has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. You can see on my phone, I'm able to change and move around the songs, and it changes on the radio. So obviously with wireless CarPlay, you have the ability for all of your functions that you would on your phone. Just, you know, like messages, maps, music, phone. If you've ever used CarPlay before, it's pretty standard across the board, but it's nice to have the ability to be able to do that. So with that, you can see, again, apps are able to be used on the screen, and you don't have to do anything from your phone. It's not every single app on your phone, but it's all the major ones like Waze, Google Maps, Spotify, things like that. So it works really seamlessly. So it gives you the ability to not need to fumble with your phone. You can just throw your phone right in your purse, right in your glove box, wherever you put it, and you still have the ability to control all of your music through here, which is really, really nice. One thing that is new as well is the GPS antenna. You do have to use the GPS antenna with the new AX4000 to be able to do wireless CarPlay in Android Auto. So that is one thing. Another awesome feature about the new AX4000 has to do with the sound that you're gonna hear coming from the radio. So they actually have a new LDAC sampling, which allows you to get 3 times the quality that you normally do with compatible devices. So that, along with the 14-band EQ, is definitely going to give you a difference in your sound, especially if you pair it up with Sony speakers like the Sony ES line. I mean, that paired with this, I mean, you're gonna definitely notice a massive difference. So they've listened to what everyone's been saying about the audio side that they're just lacking there. And they've definitely come through and made sure to deliver on something that the customers want. Finally, the new AX4000 is iData-Link Maestro compatible. So if you have a particular vehicle that you're able to utilize that iData-Link harness, then you can do so with the new Sony AX4000, which can unlock more apps and more features depending on what kind of vehicle you have. Everything else on the radio is kind of a carryover from their other line. So again, you have Sirius XM ready, so you do need to buy the Sirius XM module with it, but it is Sirius XM ready. Obviously, it has all your standard things, your AM, FM, your Bluetooth. We are still missing a CD player, but as we, move along and, the times go on, a lot of people aren't using CDs or DVDs, but that is still common with this. It is no CD or DVD. It is a mechless unit. So obviously, if you're looking for CDs or DVDs, you might need to look elsewhere. If you're familiar with Sony, it's going to be a pretty familiar face with, an updated face. Obviously, a little bit newer buttons on the bottom. This middle button here is customizable, so you can change it to something else, whatever you use most often. But it definitely is a good unit. It does have 3-volt pre-outs, so you would want to step up to the Sony AX6000 that has the 5-volt pre-outs if you're looking to add an amplifier to the system. Overall, it's definitely a big, massive upgrade with the features that we talked about, and it's on sale now. We sell it here at Reckless Car Audio, so if it's a radio you're interested in or you're looking to get one in your vehicle, you can definitely check us out on Instagram, Facebook, check our website out. We can definitely get you hooked up and get you on the way to a better radio. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, again, drop them down below. I'll make sure to answer them. And I want to know what kind of vehicle you would put this AX4000 in. And so until next time, until our 6000 video, AX6000 video, stay tuned and you'll see me next time. Thank you.